in Laughlin, when you think of floating, it's probably about a tube along the Colorado River. But in this town, 90 miles from Las Vegas, it's also part of the regional flood control system designed to prevent floodwaters from impacting residents and tourists. Welcome to the Flood Channel. I'm your host, Jessie Acuna. Although we're 100 miles from Las Vegas, a project here in Laughlin shows us just how far the district goes to protect people and the environment. Casino Drive is the main street through this town of 7,000 people at the southern border of the state. It's the lifeblood of the casino industry here, which draws nearly 2 million visitors each year. But it also floods.
So this project is way out in Laughlin. Our facilities, regional facilities, all are located throughout the county. This is an outlying section. We also have outlying facilities, and it's, for instance, in Indian Springs, in Good Springs, and also like Nelson and Searchlight. So you're right, most of our facilities in the valley are collected in Lake Mead. This is different in such a way that it goes to Colorado River.
As you drive into Laughlin from Las Vegas, you travel down a steep hill which ends at Casino Drive or continues over a bridge across the river. The project is connecting box culverts to an existing pipe and taking it under Casino Drive before it hits a small basin designed to slow it down.
It's called a stilling basin, basically, or an energy dissipator, and there is a wall. Basically, the water will hit this wall, it slows it down, and then it stops it a little bit. There's like the stilling basin has a wall, and then the water will drop, and then it conveys through that stilling basin to go to the Colorado River. Also, because the area there's rocks and erosion, it is also designed to alleviate that debris going into the Colorado River, so it's designed that way. And as more flows come in, more debris come in through the storm drain facility and through the stilling basin, our maintenance crews will go out there and maintain it every now and then and make sure that the water flows through in an efficient manner through the storm drain facilities, the energy dissipator, stilling basin, into the river.
This $1.7 million project is being constructed by Las Vegas Paving and should be finished at the beginning of 2020. It's a short project with a small stretch of pipe and culvert, but it still required lots of coordination and oversight.
So multiple agencies were involved in constructing this facility because we are adjacent to the Colorado River. Also, SR 163 is an NDOT road, so we had to coordinate with them. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they maintain the Davis Dam just upstream. So we also had to do a lot of coordination with them because the stilling basin, which basically is an energy dissipator and to collect the debris, we need to ensure that the water level in the Colorado River is low so that the contractor can build this concrete structure just adjacent to the Colorado River.
The contractor had to consider many factors with this project, including the fluctuating river level as a result of nearby Davis Dam.
So in order for any projects to be constructed, we have a lot of impacts to our environment. The contractor has to ensure that all of the stormwater quality features are in place, their best practice management are in place so that any impacts to the river are minimized and that the contractor maintains and ensure that the Colorado River is in its existing condition.
Most of the channels and washes in the Las Vegas Valley carry stormwater to Lake Mead. This channel in Laughlin is an exception, putting water right into the Colorado. The stilling basin will help remove debris from the water before it enters the river, and the project will prevent Laughlin's main road from flooding. It's always a little sunnier and warmer here at the southernmost part of the county. But this year, it seems that sun has taken up all of southern Nevada's weather. Flash flood season in Las Vegas is from July through September, And this year's season was most notable for not having many flash floods. In fact, the summer monsoon became the talk of the town as a non-soon.
The Climate Prediction Center actually had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. They were calling for equal chances, but there was stronger signals for a drier than normal monsoon season, which actually is what occurred. We only had a handful of events the whole summer for Las Vegas and then outside of our area as well. And the only reason why they were calling for equal chances was because there was favored increased tropical activity. So any possible tropical moisture that comes up would lead to possibly 1 or 2 days of above normal precipitation. So that's what the Climate Prediction Center called for, and that's basically what happened. We had a few events where we had increased tropical moisture, but overall it wasn't enough to go into our area and bring us a lot of events in Las Vegas itself. We only had a few, like I said, that were impactful to the Las Vegas area. There was a few times when we had kind of an influence from a southwest flow is what we call it. Basically the steering flow of the atmosphere aloft pushed a lot of that moisture into mainly Phoenix's area and other parts of Arizona. So we only kind of got the edge of that moisture surge, and that did occur in Mojave County, but it didn't get far enough pushed up into the Las Vegas or Clark County area.
Next door in Arizona, the season was the driest in the state's history.
They did a whole analysis of monsoon season and compiled records and precipitation amounts, and it was one of the driest monsoon seasons for the whole state of Arizona.
Nevada has had drier flash flood seasons in the past, but one standout this year was the month of October. No rainfall was recorded anywhere in the Las Vegas Valley for the entire month.
We had an abnormal, really strong, potent low-pressure system come through the last week of October, and that kind of kicked off things for beginning of November and has allowed us to keep in an active weather pattern through the later part of November and then now into early December. And the Climate Prediction Center also calls for that to continue through at least the first half of December, but it's more equal chances for the later half of December. Overall, we're going to see above normal precipitation for December.
Las Vegas is known for being dry. The average yearly rainfall is 4.26 inches. Despite the monsoon, we're crushing the rain totals this year. In early December, we had already passed 6 inches for the year.
We actually ranked 10th wettest winter overall, which is pretty impressive for the 2018-2019 winter season.
It's important to note that even when we're not in flash flood season, any strong rainfall can lead to local flooding. Often our rainfall is influenced by patterns in the Pacific Ocean. El Niño can bring wetter conditions while La Niña can lead to drier times. This winter, neither pattern is dominant, but since the start of November, we have seen a cold, active pattern that has brought numerous rain events.
So it's been a very wet year overall, even considering our very dry, abnormally dry monsoon season, and that's primarily attributed to our very wet winter of last year, our wet spring. And then starting out this winter season has contributed to that as well.
We have all seen the devastation that floods can cause to homes and lives in Clark County. Has your neighborhood or home ever been affected by major storms? Federal flood insurance is a smart and cost-effective investment if you think your home is vulnerable. Some easy-to-understand assessments can help determine if you need flood insurance. Call your insurance agent or call 1-888-CALL-FLOOD or visit the Regional Flood Control District's website for guidance. See if flood insurance makes sense for you.
Lake Mead is full of life, a seemingly endless aquatic parade, attracting and sustaining busy desert creatures. It's one of the most diverse ecosystems in Nevada, with species found nowhere else on Earth. But every time soap suds run down your driveway, oil drips in the streets, fertilizer washes off your lawn, or random trash gets swept in our storm sewers, their home gets a little uglier. They get a little sicker. If we don't take simple steps to change our ways, soon you'll wonder where all our friends have gone. It's time to clean up our act, Southern Nevada. To get your home or business lake-friendly certified, visit belakefriendly.com.
Here along the river, the best place to be is on the water. But our virtual reality project is a stark reminder that your vehicle should be nowhere near the water. The Water Always Wins Flash Flood VR experience puts you in the driver's seat of a car that gets swept away by a flash flood. It's not just the strong message that can make heads turn. Recently, the VR experience topped 1 million views on YouTube. The 360-degree film makes it feel as though you are careening out of control as water takes the wheel of your car. It can be viewed in 360 degrees on YouTube and is drawing an audience from around the world. This year, the experience won a Pinnacle Award for Public Service from the Las Vegas chapter of the Public Relations Society of America. It also won an Award of Excellence for New Digital Platform. While the awards are good recognition of the project, the most important reviews come from the youngsters who watch it. The district has been showing this experience to high school students and young drivers in Las Vegas. We've also shared it with flood agencies in California and students at UNLV and UNR. If you'd like to see it for yourself, you can watch it directly from our website, floodvr.com, or you can find our channel on YouTube at Regional Flood Control District. It's about 115 miles from here in Laughlin to a part of the county that's becoming the busiest part of our current construction program. Let's take a look at those improvements underway in North Las Vegas. From the Beltway, out to the Speedway, and right into the heart of the city, North Las Vegas is undergoing major change. 3 projects just wrapping up total nearly $50 million, and another $50 million in projects are about to start construction or go out to bid.
Really, a lot of this work's happening all kind of in the same area, all at the same time, and it just, when it's all done, we're gonna have a much better connected system across the entire area out there.
Projects go from planning into a design stage before a final set of construction plans is created. This often takes years. It's just that right now, 9 projects are coming to the construction phase at or near the same time.
Well, we've always been of the mindset to make sure that we have a complete package when we look at the project and the infrastructure that we're working on. The city has always been really focused on infrastructure as a large part of what we do. Being one of the smaller agencies in the valley, it's been really important to have all of our ducks in a row, and one, to get the support of the regional agencies like the Flood Control District and RTC and NDOT as well to help us do that. In the case of flood control projects, we've always worked really well with the Flood Control District's staff with planning and really kind of preparedness to try and tackle some of the big drainage challenges that we have throughout the valley.
In the Speedway area, 2 projects are wrapping up, 2 are about to start, and another is in the final stages of design. Along the Northern Beltway, 2 projects are finished and 2 more are about to bid.
One of the things, being that we are as large a city as we are, we have a lot of BLM land that we have to deal with. I know that the Vandenberg Detention Base is a classic example. We started work on it more than 5 years ago, if that tells you anything. And because it was going to be located on BLM land, we basically had hoops that we had to jump through. But the location was perfect to be able to address the challenges that were happening in the entire region. And so with that in mind, we just basically get in line and start checking off all of the check boxes. And we finally got the clearance to go ahead and move forward with that here just this past summer.
The Hollywood System project runs from Dune South Detention Basin to Centennial Parkway. Contractors installed 2,800 linear feet of reinforced concrete box culverts and a number of lateral connections to existing facilities.
We started in September of 2018. We did it a little bit out of sequence. There was a following project at the north end. So we got the north end of the box in first upstream so that the following tropical project could come in and do all their work. And then we moved down to the south end of the job and worked back towards the middle.
Up to 20 contractors worked this project each day and held frequent meetings on site whenever development and utility work nearby caused conflicts. TAB also worked around events at the Speedway, from Electric Daisy Carnival to NASCAR.
Most of that we scheduled to try and get pieces of work done, so we limit the scope or make sure that we got to an area that we could have everything completely done and backfilled and safed off before the events, and then we'd pull off and make sure everything was opened up for those events, because there was quite a bit of traffic for the NASCAR.
This project is the backbone of the flood control system in this area that upcoming projects will tie into.
One of our main trunk lines out there is in Hollywood, and so we called that our Hollywood Phase 1 project, and that's essentially from Las Vegas Boulevard up to Centennial. And so that's really a main trunk line for that whole area out there by the Speedway, where everything's just kind of draining to Hollywood. So that's a really nice kind of backbone of the system.
This area has been prone to flooding because no infrastructure was in place. Now all of the pieces of the system in this area are starting to come together.
It would flood. There was nothing to take it underground, so it would all flow along the surface of the road. Now all the flow will go underground until you get to where we stopped, where it'll bubble out, and then the next project is about to kick off that'll take that across the airfield.
Along Hollywood, you can see rapid development. Warehouses are literally tilted up in a matter of weeks. Leasing signs are everywhere, and just up the street, Amazon trucks roll over Tropical Parkway and a project the district just finished.
We're here at basically the most upstream end of that first phase of our range wash and branch project. So we put the storm drain in the road itself. Underground it comes up, and then it turns, and this is basically the inlet where the water will enter the system. So we have kind of a riprap channel, water would flow and make its way into the system down here, into the culvert right here. So what we've got here, we call it riprap, is basically a lot of rock and lining of the channel, and this just essentially helps it to be more stable so that when the flood comes or any water, that it's not gonna just wash away the dirt that was there. So it kind of stabilizes and strengthens and provides a little stability to the entrance here at the upstream end.
Management here at the city has been really focused on making North Las Vegas a desirable community, not just to live in, but to work in, to develop in, and doing everything that we can to make it easier than, say, Las Vegas or Clark County or even Henderson. You know, that all works in our favor.
Along the Beltway, the district has been working with the city, the county, NDOT, utilities, the Bureau of Land Management, and the Veterans Administration Hospital. One project in Pecos Road across from the hospital was started early to make fewer traffic impacts on the hospital.
We had a piece of storm drain that we wanted to get in during that construction, and so that was a coordination effort where they were going to just build the roadway, and we realized, well, we would come back months later and need to rip out the new road and put in our storm drain. So we actually broke out a small chunk of that project and accelerated it and said, let's build that as part of this other project so that we do it all at once and we don't have to go back and tear out a new roadway right when it's done.
Another project just finishing is along North 5th Street between Centennial and Deer Springs Way.
This is a particular example where we had the upstream facility in place and the downstream facility in place, but there was just essentially like the last piece where we needed to come in and kind of connect the dots. So this is really the last piece of that system, and it will basically provide connectivity. And so it's a nice piece to get in, especially there's a school just upstream of this. During construction, we were making sure that we had safe routes for those kids to walk to school, but obviously when we can have this facility in place and protect people from flooding in that area, that's going to be a great thing.
During construction, private development was going up at the same time. Often flood control comes first, but with this project, a storage unit and a restaurant each worked with the district to tie in the water lines while the trenches were open.
We think about a Denny's, somewhere that we've all probably been to and had breakfast. A Denny's needs water to function. And so when a new facility like that goes in, there was a water line and a connection that had to take place from that Denny's, and that water line comes south and right into the road in the same location where we're building our storm drain. And so that was our job, was to coordinate with them, make sure there's room for their water line and room for our storm drain. So we can make sure there's scrambled eggs at Denny's and the storm drain's in place and everybody's happy with no flooding and scrambled eggs.
Several factors are helping spark the rapid development. North Las Vegas has land sales on roughly 1,100 acres that used to be just vacant desert. Among the hardest hit cities during the Great Recession, North Las Vegas is now poised to move rapidly.
Since our challenges in the last decade to really diversify a lot of the businesses that are coming to this area and making this community one that's easier, and I won't necessarily say cheaper, but easier to go ahead and build tilt-ups, to build industrial as well as commercial. We really have taken that challenge, and you can see some of that happening. Just as an example, the Raceway Industrial Park, that used to be 1,100 acres of vacant desert land. Through the use of key infrastructure projects like routing a sewer out there, like doing some of the work that we have on the Hollywood flood control system and the range system, we now have most of that under contract in one way or another. And as you can imagine, 1,100 acres is pretty significant.
The district has facilities from right here at the lowest point of the state all the way to the foothills of the Spring Mountains. You're probably watching this from one of those populated areas in the Las Vegas Valley, but if you want more information about our entire network, visit us at regionalflood.org or check us out on social media @regionalflood.